All right. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Resilience is Your Superpower. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today. As you know, through the month of April, which is actually ending tomorrow, we're here with amazing women talking about resilience. And we actually, because due to popular demand, we have extended the interviews through May. So we're going to have a lot more interviews coming up. So please keep coming back. We're going to be coming on in May on Wednesdays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So Resilience is Your Superpower is all about finding the resilience within yourself, within your journey to achieve and overcome your challenges to get to where you want in your life, to achieve your dreams, essentially. And the reason why we're talking about resilience is because I just went through a whole rebranding of my self-love program, Resilience, a Breakthrough Journey to Self-Love. And the reason why I called it resilience is because in my own journey of transformation of over 20 years, I went through so many personal assessments, identity tests and questions and asking people around me what they thought my most powerful traits were. And one of the things hands down that they described me as was resilient. And then when I was thinking about all the women who have taken the journey, who have gone through the self-love program, I realized that they all had a similar trait, and that is that they are all resilient. So this program is in honor of all the women that have done the program, but also to all the women out there who may be on your own journey of resilience and who can find inspiration and motivation through some of the most amazing women that I know on this planet who are doing beautiful work in their own right, who have demonstrated resilience in their own journeys, and who have been so graceful to come and share some time with us here to tell us about their journeys. So today, I'm so honored to have Dr. Shweta Oza with us. Dr. Shweta has a Ph.D. in business from the University of Maryland and has taught at the University of Miami as well as internationally. She's a mentoring guide who helps conscious entrepreneurs align their energy and strategy to create SOL success. An SOL success mentoring method is a unique approach that she created from her 30 years in management and business, consulting, strategy, entrepreneurship, research, teaching, as well as energy alchemy. So we're so excited to have Dr. Shweta here today. Dr. Shweta, how are you? How are you today? I'm so grateful to have you here.
Oh, Mio, I'm so happy to be here and so happy to be part of your work, which is so very important and speaks so much to everybody's beingness, which is about this inner strength that we all have when we move forward. So I'm so happy to be here and being a part of it.
Beautiful. We're so grateful to have you. And thank you for taking the time to sit down with us today. So I always like to give the viewers a little bit of a background on you. So just in your own words, tell us a little bit about yourself. What are you up to? What are you passionate about? What is Dr. Shweta about?
Oh, okay. So my passion is in helping people step into and really embrace their wholeness and being successful. That's something, one of the things we realize when we go through and look at different parts of our life. Oh, gee, this is what I was doing when I was 5. Like, not exactly the way I'm doing, but that's what I was doing. If you look at yourself, that's what you were doing, probably helping a friend move through a rough patch, so to say, right? And so that's what I have always been doing for myself, for everybody. And it's an ever expanding space. Like I say, universe is always expanding. And so we are always expanding and our wholeness is always expanding. And so we get to be there. That's what the whole soul mentoring process is about. It is about working with individuals, and I mostly work with women in business, and helping them create this space of wholeness and success within themselves. There's a lot of times we do one or the other. And that's what I realized in the last 20 plus years when I was doing management consulting and working with entrepreneurs. And most of my work was geared towards helping them create strategies for success. which worked amazingly well. But for those strategies to then get the last mile or to get through to give them success, something happened. Either they got it in one arena, which is career or business, and felt funky in all other, or they could never move through and get it. And so my work kind of became mentoring them to move through those crevices, so to say. And that's how the Soul Mentoring Program came into being, because that is the program that really marries my formal degrees, which is the two MBAs, management consulting, a Ph.D, tenure track, peer-reviewed publication, and so on and so forth, and my work since I was 5, which does not have official degrees, although of course, there are lots of certifications that happen on the way, but the degree is me being here. That is worth more than at least 2 PhDs, if I were to say it, right?
Yes.
Or more. And that is the alchemical work that we bring in to really tap into that wholeness aspect and facilitate that creative space for you to move through.
Beautiful, incredible. I'm so grateful to have you here, because we're going to dive into all of that. But to give people a better, I always like to figure out for you, when was it that you realized that you wanted to do what you're doing now? Like when did you make that connection, and what was that journey like for you?
Okay. So, like I said, I knew I was doing what I'm doing ever since I was. It's a cliche to say I was doing this since I was a kid, but I was. Okay. I just didn't know this is what it is called. Helping a friend who is feeling devastated because of something that happened in her family, to really come and see what she's doing, right? So there is this whole space of talking to an adult who feels something has gone really bad because they lost their mom, and then there is a 13-year-old girl talking something completely different to change their space, right? So this helping somebody connect to that wholeness, and these are just examples of that time, right? Was always there. I loved helping people. I was a teacher at the university back in India, and some of my then students are amazingly placed professionals now, and in a lot of subject matters they're even better experts than me, because I'm not a subject matter in technology, for example, or Wi-Fi or whatever that they are doing. But it always gives me joy in helping them connect to that something. Now, but that's just who I was. I mean, what does it matter, right? Like, yes, it matters, but my aim or my professional trajectory was physics, mathematics, management, consulting, executive education, MBA, academia, PhD, right? And I could see how in all of that, my joy was always, always, always working with people. Yeah, sure, I did research. Yes, I published. Yes, I gave conference presentations. Well, my joy was working with people, working with students.
So you
When I
realized
had,
that, you started feeling that.
yes, always. And then I ended up having a patch of a few years in my personal life where it became very, very clear to me that the area or the context through which I am approaching, the context through which I am creating this, that context has to be different. For me, in my full expression and my wholeness, that job was not the context. For somebody else, it could very well have been. For me, it was not. And so I decided to step out of it. And realized what was so holistically calling me was really stepping into this place and articulating my complete philosophy, which is it is impossible to have meaningful, conscious business growth without meaningful, conscious personal growth. And in an entrepreneurial journey, more so than anything else, yes, it applies when you are having a job, it applies when you're working for somebody else, it applies in any 9 to 5, but especially in an entrepreneurial journey, this is the fulcrum because we take our whole self to that business. While this is true for every human being, it is felt in the lives of women a million times more because women have this ability, natural ability to hold multiple aspects within their awareness at the same time. So if I am holding multiple aspects in my awareness at the same time, and if I am being asked to pull a whole chunk of my beingness into my health or my relationships or my kid, which is part of relationship, what do I have left to give to my business?
Also, and vice versa, right? If you're
And
giving
vice
everything
versa.
to your
Yes.
business, yeah,
And vice versa. I said that example primarily because then you can pay, in this situation, me 10 grand to give you a strategy plan, and I can bring a team of social media experts and PRP, and they can do everything they want outside. But if you are not condensed, contained, whole, and in your center, you're not going to be able to move through this business, and it's going to feel like you are running on a hamster wheel.
Yes.
So like I said, I am a marketing professor, and I always used to tell my students and my clients, your audience tells you what they need. My people showed me that when I just give them strategy and walk away, they love me, they call me back, they may pay me again, but we are back to the same place. But then if I can help them in a whole manner, it's
exponential.
movie, there would be fireworks right now.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exponential, like just
Yes.
exponential growth.
And so that became my way of working with everybody. And so that's when it became very clear to me that this is my space. Mm-hmm. It has always been my space, but this is my space. My space is not just my Ph.D. and my management consulting. My space is my heart and my soul, which is in mentoring, in guiding through wherever you are. Wherever you are creating a new business, wherever you are, from there to wherever you need to be, in your way, where your soul leads you. Where your soul leads you, not where my agenda leads you, where your soul leads you. Right. And I get to work with you in that space so that you can co-create with your soul. And that success that you feel is a whole success. Right. Is wholeness. So that's what I love to do. And that's when I realized that that's what it needed to be. Mm-hmm. Not academia, but this work where I can have full impact.
Beautiful. And let me ask you, Shweta, for you, was there a point in your own journey that you felt because of all the academia, being a professor, the PhDs, the MBAs, all this, being a marketing expert, where you realized and where you were able to find your center and become whole in your own journey, and how you went through that process, and how that, like, aspect of resilience showed through that process for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I would not change a thing in my life. One thing. It has taken me a very long time to be able to say that. Okay. It takes a long time to actually then see, understand, and integrate that in this very moment, I am a sum total of all of that. And we read it in books, and most of the time we say it here, think it, and say it. That is not the same as fully accepting it in every fiber of your being. So today I can say that from every pore in my body, I wouldn't change a thing in my life. Okay. That said, the path and the process is the one that brought me to the word wholeness. Like how you said, self-love became resilience, right? For me, that path and the process is what became wholeness, because the success was always there. I mean, I am a granddaughter, like when we talk about it, I'm a granddaughter of a man who lost his father when he was 6 months old, was brought up by a widowed mother in India that was ruled by the Britishers, who grew up working on a textile mill line and raised a family from there. And my dad was the eldest there. But my grandfather valued education a lot. And that came through my father. Okay? So I'm saying this because every ounce that my family had was beautifully put in for me. I can be whatever I want to be. I can climb wherever I want to climb. And they were squarely behind me in everything I needed. Where are they going to get what? They don't know, but they have it. Like my dad, my mom, everybody. Okay? And I loved it. Like, fuck yeah, I loved it. I loved being able to walk into a, a, a Fortune 500 company and consult with them and tell them how to make more money, how to treat their people better, how to design a whole system. But I loved it. Yeah. I loved when I came for PhD. I loved that I got this job. And I started with my grandfather because I don't know my great grandfather, right? My grandfather didn't know him well enough to tell me about him because his father died at 6 months. So with that background, here I am, a tenure track professor with a PhD from UMD, one of the top marketing programs, working at University of Miami, another top marketing program. Now we are talking, mid six figures in salary, an amazing place. That is success in every which way. It is success, right? And nothing was bad. But for me, and again, I'm very particular in saying that there are so many people in that situation for whom it is perfect and they are beautifully happy and it is the joy of their life, and that is them. For me, it was not. For me, I had my personal life happening at the time. I had a newborn who was going through health issues, who was hospitalized. I had a life situation which really brought me what is success for me. This work where I get to be all the time, and I'm on a tenure track and I'm working on my research and I'm under the gun to publish, and it takes parts of you, okay? And it is possible when you have appropriate systems around you. I didn't have the kind of systems that might have worked, but what I had, what the universe presented to me, was almost like opening of the doors that made me strongly pause and say, what makes me feel whole? I love that when I teach. I love working with people. I'm also enjoying my research. I am not enjoying being not present with my child. Yes, I have an amazing caretaker. That's not me. My brain is half here, half there. I am a disembodied spirit. Okay. And it just is, my mind is in one place, my heart is in another place, my body is in third place. Alignment, wholeness, completion is not there for me. So when it became super clear that that's not for me, then it became very clear to say, I'm going to step off this. To what? I don't know. I didn't have this business fully formed at that time. So that is, I remember picking up the phone and telling my, you know, telling my parents, I am gonna get out of this job.
Wow. How was that?
And my parents have always been supportive for me. That said, like every parent, they also really wish for you to excel in what they have built you for.
Their aspirations, their dedication to your education, everything.
Right, but because it's not, it's also not because it's them who want it. But it is for them. That was a way to make you fully independent, fully empowered, fully sovereign, right? Um, an independent, financially independent woman is a sovereign woman. That's what our culture teaches us. But there is sovereignty in many, many, many ways. And I remember telling my parents, this is what is going to feel like a very selfish decision. And this, by far in my life, is the most selfish, if you call it, decision for me. Okay. But I assure you, everything that we have worked is not going to waste. All of that is coming with me. Because and I said, I don't know how it is going to look, but it is all going to stay with me. And today I can say when I work with business creators, I am I am so blessed that I start the work with the energy of their soul, which is all the degrees that are not on my resume, right? But it is really working at the level of your soul's energy into the spaces of our multidimensional, multifaceted beingness, bringing it up into your expressiveness, your mental beingness, in applying the same to your business, and actually knowing what am I talking about, because I've done it, I know it, and I can use it to serve you. So that, you're coming back to your question, is that was the moment that I had to move through. And it was the moment that required every ounce of what you call resilience for me.
Beautiful. And so, oh God, this is so good because at that moment, you are stepping away from what society may have imagined. Like you were saying, that picture of success, right? You reached the epitome, the epitome of like the top of where you wanted to be. And you're stepping away from this. And something that we always talk about in these interviews with resilience is that no one likes to talk about failures, right? Everybody thinks that there's like such a negative connotation on what failure is, but what is it really? And so when you're stepping away from this, others might have think, and maybe even you might have thought, oh, this is a failure, like I'm stepping away from what I came to do, what I aspired to do, and what I was successful at. But then what opened up for you as a result was where you are now. So did you have that dialogue? Like how was that journey for you in the aspect of like having had, like, let's say, a failure of what society would have thought?
Right. So let me put it this way. Yes, I had that dialogue with myself. I had the dialogue with myself because I am a strong, empowered woman. I am smart. I should be able to manage everything. I have found a really amazing heart-centered caretaker for my child, and she can do everything that needs to be done. Why do I need to be so emotional and let go of this job? Why? Why do I need to do that? Don't I know how to manage it? Don't I understand that there are millions of women managing both of these and that it can be done? And if I'm not doing it, then there is something wrong with me. What is wrong with me? Like, I'm a strong woman. What's wrong with me? Why can I not just move through? Right? You start there. And I, I went through all the processes that I have access to all the tools that I have access to, which now are the tools that I use when I work with others, right? To come to a very strong clarity for me. It was my clarity, which was, it is not so much that I want to run away from here. And I remember it took me almost 11 months to go from I want to be out of here to really understanding and coming into, again, the wholeness and the alignment. I am not running from here, I am going here. The action is still the same. I am walking out to something. My walk has not changed. But that 11 months brought me to the place of this centeredness, this clarity, like absolute clarity within myself, and this alignment within myself, which was, I am choosing to create a space that is gonna feel whole for me. I am not walking away from here. I'm not running away from here. I'm not shunning the blessings and the gifts that the universe has given me. I am saying, this whole setup, I love you. I'm very grateful for you. It is time for me to have more. And my more is one where I am whole and I'm walking there. And once I got to that space, then everything was cakewalk. Then no matter who told me what, didn't matter. It was never, I read this somewhere. When your lived experience is still a wound, everybody's word becomes a kind of a pricking to it. But when your lived experience has healed to not even be a scar, then it is like, oh, cool. Do you see? I kind of burnt here, or, here was a fracture or whatever. But that is like, oh, cool. Can you imagine that happened? Then nobody holds it. It doesn't hurt you because it's not raw. No. Yeah, it took me 11 months to not be raw. And that was my process. And now I know, which is why when like now I say the biggest difference between me as a professor in the academia and me now is as professors, we teach from the textbook. Now everything you get from me is my lived truth. It is my embodied wisdom. It is not knowledge. It is my embodied wisdom.
Beautiful.
So that 11 months, that was the whole conversation. And everything I think I did is what you are now teaching as resilience through self-love, because that's what came through. What I need is to be whole. And that if I cannot do that for me, nobody can do for me. So it is an
Yes,
act of complete self-love.
totally. 100%. When you were describing it, I was like, that is resilience. That is
And
self-love.
and that is
You're
self-love.
choosing you.
Yeah, which is why what you are sharing, what you are bringing is so important.
Thank you for that. And let me ask you this, because through those 11 months, you described it so perfectly, how you went from here, which you were blessed and grateful for it, but now you were walking here. And oftentimes, and it's come up on the interviews before, where these our journeys of resilience oftentimes tend to be a lonely journey, because it's almost like you feel like you're alone in this, like you're the only one. And it's like you have to grab the bull by the horns, and if it's going to get done, you got to do it yourself. And it's this whole mentality of like, I got to get this done, I got to do this, right? And so oftentimes we and it's come up before, where asking for help or opening up to support, or allowing people to step in and help you, it's like it's like sense like a weakness, like, no, I'm stronger than that. But in reality, what we're learning is that when we do open ourselves up to support and to help, and use the tools that we have around us, we actually become more empowered. So did you have that come up through your journey when you made that decision? Like, how was that aspect of opening yourself up to community support, guidance, tools, anything that you had at your disposal to get you to where you wanted to go?
So I have, yes, let me answer the question first. Yes. Okay. Um, yes, it is true. Ultimately, we journey alone. It's true. We journey alone. Nobody is going to be able to walk your path except you, and my path except me. There is no other way, because it is our own unique expression. The beauty of being here is we may we will be walking our paths alone. However, we can always ask for shade, ask for cheering, ask for a hand to hold us, ask for somebody to give us water, somebody to nurture us on the way. We can always ask. And even more than that, if we are open to receiving it, we will always have it. So for me, yes, I had it in ways that I'm going to share now. All my life, I have been blessed to be supported with parents, with my teacher, with amazing road showers. I couldn't be where I was and where I am without that. Okay. In those 11 months specifically, going back, because that's where your question was, there were two aspects of support. The first one was this web of inner work, my alchemical work that I had been doing, and that I still am blessed to have, like my mentor to work with, I heavily, heavily, heavily leaned on my work. All of it, all of it, everything that I had learned since I was 5, I leaned heavily on that work. Was very, 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 very important for me, that inner work, which a lot of times felt like I am doing this alone. Okay. And also brought the awareness that ultimately it is my journey. So I get to do this alone because it's my journey. The second place of support that really, really, really helped me was my husband. Now, when when I came to this awareness that this is not sustainable for me, and I shared that with him, okay, if it is not sustainable for you, you don't get to do it. Don't do it. Nothing is more important than you feeling whole. No. And then you said, like the failure portion, then your head goes, well, but I'm working, you're working, we have a little kid. This is the cash flow. If I leave, then this. And his answer was, I don't know what it will be, but we'll figure out. The most important thing is, if it is not sustainable for you, it's not sustainable for our family. You got to do you first, because from there we will get us. For me, I see the Shakti and the Shiva. That is my one part of my lineage is that. And this here was a perfect presentation. Shiva is just there holding. Shakti gets to move. It's not do it. Did he get to walk my path? No. Did he get to do anything? No. Did I have to go through what somebody would call the dark night of the soul? Yes. Could he walk that with me? No. But he was like, you do you. You do you. And that was a big support. So when we think about support, we get to draw on the support that is available to us. And it is very important. My life was busy. I used to work 18 hours. Uh, I didn't really have time for a community. It's not nice to say that. It's not nice to say that, but it's the truth. I lived in Miami for a decade plus. I had maybe friends that I can count on one finger, because friendships, relationships need nurturing. They need your energy too. They need your time too. You and I are not going to become friends just because you and I are sitting in the same room together. No, it doesn't happen that way. So I didn't really have a community. I didn't have time to nurture a community. Life changed. I moved. I took 1,000 days off to detox and really connect with my kid. And, in the process, people started coming and saying, hey, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And that's how I continued my business. And I kept my businesses scaled micro, the what I can manage, no more than 5 people at a time. I work with you 6 months, no more than 5 people at a time, because I want to give you full attention in a manner that feels whole to me, which means I have a little one. Again, it's whole to me. That is the important one, because your whole and my whole can be different. And then I was like, well, wouldn't it be cool if I could have community? And universe again listens. You ask and you get. Ask and you shall be provided for. And I say this in the comadres community a lot. Somebody met me 3 times in a week, telling me about las comadres. Okay. And I finally said yes. This was the first, she was in the first cohort. And
Mm-hmm.
then after 3 months, when it opened again, I joined. That day and today, it has been 2+ years. I have yet to have another cup of coffee with that woman. We have not been able to connect to do that. We connect, but we have not been able to sit down to do that. This is a person who had 3 cups of coffee with me in 1 week to talk to me only about Las Comadres. And she's not even in Comadres right now. And we have not been able to have coffee right now. But universe somehow brought her in my life for me to connect there.
Mm.
And I've not been able to be in all the events at Las Comadres. I can't do that. But what I got were opportunities to get one-on-one close to some people and start nurturing some relationships, right? And start having a community and say, hey, okay, I'm now going from this to this, and I think I need a different kind of a help. I need a
Right.
chair game, you know, I
Yeah.
need, and I now have them come up. And so you ask, community becomes important. The long answer to your question is it's always there. You get to figure out what kind of support you need, and you get to ask for that support.
Yes.
However, asking externally without being mindful of what you need from really inside of you and what is needed to be shifted inside of you is going to be not very helpful.
Right.
One more point on this I want to share is a lot of times we find people in general, women in particular, almost being upset with themselves for not being able to ask support, because support is important. I can ask, oh what, oh my god, why am I not asking it? Why do Only word that I would like to share there is be kind with yourself, because this is not a mental process. There is a lot more at play here than our mind can get hold of. you know I shared my process, but really, it, again, like I said, it goes back to what came with me. What was I carrying energetically through my soul's energy, which is like it is almost like I want to say, it is almost like saying, if you were to open up this mountain top, you will get the most beautiful picture inside, right? But that mountain top cannot open unless the plates in the earth shift. Shifting the earth plates, dissolving the calcified, ossified energy programming within the innermost realms of our beingness has huge impact on how we can navigate the world outside. It is not an excuse, it is an understanding, because then you can do something about it. So if you are finding repeated chronic patterns that your mind tells you that you should be able to navigate, but you are not, that further brings you into this vicious cycle of separated and disembodiment. No, go talk to somebody. Hell, come talk to me, because that's my expertise, bringing you back to wholeness. Right? So just be kind to yourself. I mean, really, just be kind to yourself if you can't ask for support, because your biggest support is inside of you.
Beautiful. Absolutely. Yes. It's all about that integration. You're absolutely right. And it's very similar to the work I do as well, where we figure out, because sometimes you're replaying these patterns and that there's a pattern, but you don't know what you don't know. So you're replaying this pattern and you're like, where is this coming from? And you're exhausted and you feel like that hamster on the wheel. And you're like, how can I change this? I want to change this, but I can't because I don't know what I don't know. And so that's why it's so important to ask for support, to ask for help, to ask a,
Mhm.
a coach like Dr. Shweta, or me as a coach, or a therapist, or whatever it looks like to you, but to really be able to hold a mirror and to support you in navigating, that aspect of yourself that you're not aware of because you just don't see it for yourself. So it's super powerful. So Shweta, I always like to ask those that sit here with me something. When you look back at your journey and you look at everything you've been through to get to where you are, and you discussed how you overcame everything you overcame to create the wholeness and the beauty that you wanted in your life. What has been that those things that you have learned that you take with you now, continuing on your journey, that you learned from your own experience in your life?
My soul has a unique path and a purpose. And that's what's going to come through. So my work, my will is to align myself to that. Because once I am aligned to that, everything is going to happen. So that is the biggest thing that I take with me. Every ounce of energy I'm going to put in, it's going to be put in. The outward is just going to let me know what needs to be done. So that's the very first thing that I take with me. Um, the second thing that I take with me is everything is in divine order. And if it is, then it is. So for me, this works. The the last part is our success blueprint is uniquely ours. It's okay to begin with modeling that to what we see outside. But what we see outside is that person's success blueprint. It is not necessarily ours. So it's very important to get to a place where you can very clearly hear what is mine to do, what is mine to be, and everything else is noise. With this three, I'm home.
Beautiful. And I love, just to touch on something you said, which is what is in here, you see out here. And it's so important for the viewers because, and it's one of the basis of what I teach, which is what you have inside you is what you create outside of you. It's the reality that you bring in your creation from what you have inside you. So it's so important, you for those 11 months, you went on your inward journey, and I'm sure there was spirituality, there was an emotional journey, spiritual, mental, physical, everything, and you had a mentor, and you really went there for yourself. You really went deep inside to create that wholeness for yourself. And I think that's so important for our viewers to understand that the journey starts within. The journey really does start within.
It does, right? Because and yeah. Well,
So with that said, we always like to leave the viewers with this last question, which is, what words of wisdom would you like to leave our audience who may be on a similar journey that you were on of resilience? What words of wisdom would you leave with them today?
Oh boy. uh, this is this is something. There are two parts that I want to leave with. Okay. The first one is it is your vibration. Okay. Um, the language of the universe is the nad. It's we translate that to sound in English, but nad is not the sound. Nad is that hum. It is the hum. It is the vibratory hum. Okay. So, and the viewers might be like, well, yeah, okay, I've read it in like a million books. Abraham Hicks has this whole model around it's your vibration. What the fuck does that mean? Right? And that's what I would like. That's what I'm bringing here, what I'm leaving them with, leaving me with, leaving you with, leaving us with is your body, our body is an instrument for that nad, that vibratory hum, which emanates from all the energies that we carry. And this is what we take into our life, into our business, into our creation. So, want to create something that vibrates at the frequency of whatever, you get to be it. You will not be able to have a meaningful relationship if you are not being meaningful with yourself, whatever that means, in one line. And to know more, find somebody you can work with. You will not be able to have an amazingly successful business if that success is not embodied in your beingness. So, the only thing, if you remember, then let it be this: the language of the universe is the nad. And you, and only you, get to refine it.
Yes.
Everybody else gets to help you with it. They don't get to refine it for you.
Yep. I always say your vibration is yours. It's your problem. It's yours to control. It's yours to raise.
It's yours.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Because that is the success. That is the secret of your wholeness. That is the secret of your success. That is the pathway to you finding your self-love. That ability to continuously tune at a certain vibratory frequency and adapt and continue vibrating there, that is your resilience. But that is what you work with.
Absolutely. 10,000%. Wow, Dr. Shweta, this has been such an expansive conversation. We touched on so much. Thank you for sitting with us and and just sharing so authentically. For those of you out there who are interested in learning more about the Resilient Self-Love program, please visit my website at miosantana.com. You'll see more information in the show notes. Like I said, we're going to be here through the month of May with more interviews like this powerful one we just had here today. Replay it back, rewind it, take notes, because Dr. Shweta gave us some golden jewels of knowledge and of wisdom for us for our journeys. And Dr. Shweta, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here with us today, for sitting down with us. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Mio. I'm so happy to be here. And oh my God, what a beautiful, beautiful offering you're bringing out to the world.
Thank you so much. And for everybody out there, remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others. We love you, and we will see you next time. Bye. Thank you.